Friends, good evening to all of you. First of all, let me congratulate IBPC for maintaining this tradition of celebrating Republic Day. And I think the spirit of the speech by the chairman was just the right spirit. And I think before that was even more appropriate when all of you sang the national anthem straight from your heart. I mean, videos can never do justice. I remember this program by Amitabh Bachchan, Kaun Banega Crorepati? And one of the questions at some point was that national anthem mein Jaya hai, Jaya hai, Jaya hai, kitni baar kaha? Very few people knew it. But I think it was a great way to begin the evening. Today is really I would say, a momentous day for all of us, the whole of India. 75 years of India as a republic we have completed, and we're celebrating our 76th anniversary. In August 1947, we broke off from the yoke of British colonialism and became a free country. But it was only in January 1950 that we stood as a nation. We adopted the Constitution, because it's the Constitution which actually encapsulates our values, our ethos, our aspirations. Our Constitution is that document of governance which lays out how our country will tread towards the future, of course with the support of each Indian. It has worked very well. It's customary that our president always on the eve of Republic Day addresses the nation. So one of the things she mentioned yesterday was that in the life of a nation, 75 years passes as a blink of the eye. But then she also said that not so for India, because 75 years have actually been a very arduous journey for us, very difficult journey for us, considering from where we started off. It has required leadership, as Siddharth mentioned earlier. It has required contribution from each and every Indian. And what do you see today? Today you see India, if you look at our region, South Asian region, today you see India as an oasis of peace, stability, progress. It's a country which other countries look up to. And last year, as you all know, in terms of GDP, we actually crossed our colonial masters. And we are well on way to becoming the third largest GDP very soon, maybe in 5 years from now. So that's where we are, and I think we owe it all to the Constitution, because it's the Constitution which actually defines us as a country, as a socialist, secular, sovereign, democratic republic. Each word is laden with meaning, with values, and I think it's so important for bringing us here. The day Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950, things like universal adult franchise just rolled out. Even the West did not have universal adult franchise. Women still didn't have the right to vote. But then we started off in a way which was something very exceptional. And it took people of the mettle of Baba Sahib Ambedkar as chairman of the drafting committee, with of course the support of other Constituent Assembly members, to study the constitutions of the world, to marry them with Indian realities. And Indian realities, as you know, are not simple realities, they're very complex realities, because we are a very multicultural, multilinguistic society. We are a civilizational state. So on that day, a new journey started. And after 75 years of a young nation, but of a civilizational state, here is where we are. I think much to celebrate. But in the UAE context, the biggest thing to celebrate is where we are in our relationship. As they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And I think one of the biggest proof is the fact that UAE is home to the largest number of Indian nationals. In December 2023, the number was precisely 3.89 million. I'm sure by December 24, we don't have the figures. It would have easily crossed 4 million. 10 years back, it was 2.2 million. So within a span of 10 years, it has almost doubled. And I think that speaks of the relationship, the partnership, or as Sudhir said, the brotherhood between the nations, starting from the leadership, the vision of the leaders. So I think there's much to celebrate. Arts is also a historical relationship. Now, I don't need to go into history because you are all a living part of history. You have seen this relationship go from strength to strength. You have played your part in making relations what they are today. All I can say is that in the last 10 years, which you would have all seen, our relationship has actually got transformed. But 10 years is a very long journey. I thought today I'll just focus on the last 1 year, since last Republic Day. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So just to save on the words, I'll just show a few pictures. So I just have some pictures for you. So I thought I'll just start with our journey for the last 1 year, and it all says. I want to start with September 2023, when India was chairing G20. And in G20, we actually invited the UAE as one of our special invitees. And why was that? That was because we recognized the role which UAE plays at the global stage. There, a lot of initiatives were taken, of course, and then came COP28 in Dubai, very much in this city, where Prime Minister was not only invited, it was a very special status given to Prime Minister. And this is what the special status is, that in the inaugural plenary session, Prime Minister Modi was the only world leader to speak. I think that's a recognition of Prime Minister Modi, a recognition of India, and also the fact that when India speaks, the world listens. So it was none other than Indian Prime Minister speaking there. And this is actually, COP28 is the largest gathering of heads of state, heads of government, anywhere in any formation in the world. The following month, in January, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed was the chief guest at Vibrant Gujarat in Ahmedabad. And you can see the embrace. Again, this is worth 1,000,000 words, because this is not just about, it is not just about chemistry between the leaders or the warmth between the leaders. It's about warmth between the countries. And how else can warmth be sort of symbolized? If I'm moving beyond the ceremonial welcome, which you see here, it was more than 50,000 people cheering along the roads of Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar. This is something which is very unprecedented. Leaders have visited India several times, but for this leader, there were 50,000 people. It was actually their way of thanking the leader to host all of us here in this country and for all of us to prosper here. One thing which is very rare is for His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed to address a gathering. Even during COP28, which he was hosting, he never addressed any gathering there. But here in Ahmedabad, in Vibrant Gujarat, he actually addressed the gathering of about 4,000 people. That's very exceptional. It's a very special gesture. Some agreements were also signed at that time. The following month in February, Prime Minister Modi was here. You can see the usual embrace. Again, it was a very significant and a multifaceted visit. One of the things which happened was the launch, the Prime Minister and the President launched the J1 card, the credit card, debit card of the UAE, which is based entirely on the RuPay card stack. And our logic was that if UAE has to come up with their own card, if UAE has to break the monopoly of the legacy cards coming from a different part of the world, why reinvent the wheel when we have already done it? So that card was launched by our two leaders, several agreements were signed, including a bilateral investment treaty, IMEC, digital infrastructure, and so much more. Most visible, perhaps, was the inauguration of the Babs Hindu Temple, for which Prime Minister was there on Vasant Panchami. And you can see it, Today, the temple stands, as a symbol of the ethos of harmony, peace, and tolerance, an ethos which is common to both our countries. Sheikh Nahyan, so graciously was there as a representative of the government of the UAE. And this is a night view of the temple because sometimes people debate whether it looks better in the day or in the night. I think in the night it looks better. I don't know about all of you. And then, of course, Ahlan Modi, a reception given by, a welcome given by the Indian community here to Prime Minister. About 40,000 people were gathered there. For those of you who were there, I mean, you can feel how electric that environment was when people see their beloved leader in their midst. This time, Prime Minister also visited Dubai and had a meeting with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. And there again, a lot of things happened. Prime Minister addressed the World Government Summit. Again, this is very special because he was the guest of honor. He was also the guest of honor at World Government Summit in 2018, and perhaps the only world leader to be guest of honor at World Government Summit twice. Bharat Mart was launched. Consul General, His Excellency Sudhir has already mentioned about this, and what a path-breaking initiative this is, which can really help our SME exporters leverage the strategic location of the UAE. And then, of course, we had the elections, so there were no visits during 4-5 months. And then September last year, Sheikh Khalid, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, visited India. That was again a very unique visit because that visit was about generational continuity. So this is not a relationship which started yesterday. It was, it has been several generations. You can see the warmth again, transferring from one generation to another. We were talking about, Siddharth mentioned about the father of the nation. It is customary that when world leaders come, they pay homage at the memorial of our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Sheikh Khalid did it. At the same time, he planted a sapling there. This is a picture of that. But what is unique about this relationship is that he planted a sapling, his father planted a sapling, his grandfather planted a sapling. So this has happened with no other country. And if you see the girth of the trunk of the 3 trees, you can see how this relationship has moved from one generation to another. And all these 3 trees are flourishing. These are real-time pictures. He also launched in Mumbai the virtual trade corridor. And that, that also speaks about how our trade has moved. Initially, we started with trade in pearls, in small dhows. We moved to large ships. And today, it's virtual trade happening, trade being facilitated by a virtual trade corridor. This is how, things have moved. Just last month, we had the Joint Commission meeting in which our Foreign Minister, Sheikh Abdullah, and Dr. Jaishankar discussed the entire gamut of bilateral issues, confronting our 2 countries, our opportunities, our challenges, and everything. Being strategic partners, we also had this strategic dialogue. And His Highness Sheikh Abdullah, of course, met Prime Minister. That was how the year ended. And the way this year is beginning is, of course, with our Republic Day celebration. And we hope to get Dr. Jaishankar tomorrow at our Republic Day event in Abu Dhabi. So that's how things are. I thought I'll just take you through a pictorial journey of just 1 year. Because I think this year, what has happened is symbolic of how things are, and is also an indicator of how things will be. We just need your support. And as CG mentioned, and Siddharth also mentioned, you're all ambassadors of India. Do whatever you can do in your respective places, wherever you are, whatever role you have, because your contributions together actually amount to a lot and mean a lot to all of us. Thank you very much.